Alright guys, so this is going to be one of my first video tutorials. I know a lot of you have been asking for a bunch of armor making tutorials, and figured this was a good simple one to start on. Although I'd really like to get a lot more going next year, especially since I kind of know what I'm doing now. But today I'm going to show you how to vinyl wrap armor pieces using automotive vinyl wrap. I usually work with foam armor, and I know a big thing to seal that is either Plastidip or latex, but I haven't been happy with a lot of the texture I've been getting on those or the finish. But auto wrap you can get in a whole bunch of different colors, textures, sheens. So the vinyl for that booster arm came in today, and I've just been playing with that. I originally got some samples from Metro Restyling, just a bunch of reds, metallic reds. Most of them are not what I really wanted, and they really don't look good on camera, but you can get some samples for yourself. They're only $1 each, and see how they really look. I was more interested in chromes. This one just being your standard mirrored chrome, and then this one was matte chrome, which looks really cool, just not on camera, and then a satin chrome, which is the one I really wanted to go with. But the only downside to this technique is how expensive it is. 1 foot of this satin chrome is $55, and I didn't feel like paying that, so I went on eBay and found a different satin chrome, which is more along the matte from the other site. I got this from Easy Auto Wrap on eBay. The 2-foot roll was $25 rather than $100. So that was great. I was a little hesitant at first because of eBay. You don't really know what you're going to get. Don't know if you should trust the buyers, but I actually fell in love with this. It was a lot better than the other wraps I've used. It's a lot thinner. And the key is when you get auto vinyl is that you need to get the heat form kind. That way it could form. You can bend it over your foam, stretch it over your foam without getting wrinkles. And also when you heat it, it kind of activates the adhesive on the back, so when it cools down, it sticks a lot better. But I wrapped this piece first, and I have the second one to go, so I'm just going to show you guys how to do that. But first, what you need is your vinyl. Like I said, I showed you the roll I'll be using. Heat gun to help form it and dry the glue. I like to contact cement the edges so that they won't peel up and the vinyl peels away. Scissors to cut it. I use straight razors to also cut it. You can just use utility knives if you want. And then I have some old razors that I'll use to squeegee the glue on, because the thinner it goes on, the faster it will dry and the less texture the vinyl will pick up, because when you heat up that vinyl and press it in, it will pick up anything. So, alright, let's get started on how to vinyl wrap foam armor. So, kind of want to actually have some scraps from earlier. You really want to try to use any scraps you have, because this stuff is pretty expensive. So I'll use this scrap I had up on the side to start. Let's see. It's just pretty much a big sticker, so you can put it on, rub it down. And I like to heat it up, and you'll see it kind of shrivel up or bubble. Then that's when you want to squeegee it in, get all the air bubbles out, and then it'll stick to the foam a lot better. And the cool thing about this is that it's repositionable, so if it does peel up, you can just take it off and put it back on. And I kind of got a wrinkle in there. I don't know if you can kind of see that. So you just kind of got to heat it up and keep squeegeeing it out. Alright. Got most of it out. You'll barely notice it because there's actually a horn piece that goes over that. But got most of it out. Looks pretty smooth. And I realized I forgot a step, so take that off. Good thing about this, that doesn't tear up the foam. I forgot the contact cement because since there's going to be a piece glued to it, I don't want any risk of the vinyl popping up. There we go. Okay. And you use a heat gun to speed up the drying process. And let's try this again. Now you can tell that it's really not coming off. And the cool thing about this is that you don't need to add contact cement to the back of the vinyl because the adhesive bonds pretty well to the contact cement. So you save glue and you save time. And then after squeegeeing that on, just kind of carefully cut away the excess. I like to keep a little bit over the edge so you can get some overlap when you layer it. I haven't tried doing this in one piece. I'm not sure if it'll work, but some of the more slightly curved pieces you can actually laminate with one piece. Which is pretty cool, but I'd rather not risk it and just layer it. You kind of want to get these edges to be as clean as possible. Alright. So just heat it up again to lay down the edges. Got another bubble right there that I need to get out because that's where I'll be layering, and you really want that to be as smooth as possible. Might be tough to get out because there's glue under there, but it looks pretty good. I need to cut a piece to size. And don't burn yourself on the heat gun like I just did. And you want to cut a piece with pretty good edge around it so you can fold it over like that. Get nice coverage on the whole piece. Peel this off and stick it on the main surface. Gonna heat it and squeegee it down this time. And actually caught a little scrap piece of vinyl under there, which is creating a bubble. So I'll just peel that up and take that out. I actually didn't see this before, but there's actually a big dent in the foam, which I didn't catch. But just let it go and use it as battle damage because I do want to weather this a little bit when I'm finished with it. So you don't need all of this excess vinyl on the back, so you can just cut away. Make sure you leave enough to cover the width of the foam, but then overlap onto the back a little bit. Cut some tabs to go to the edge of the foam to wrap it around the corners. Like how you did on the that one football shape, you're going to cut a little bit over the top edge. So you can overlap the vinyl and get it on this side. Stick better, heat it up and fold it over. You heat it up, it softens the vinyl, allowing it to go over the curves and sharp edges better. If you fold it over while it's cold, it'll be too rigid and want to pull up. Don't want that. people don't like seams. I don't, but these seams are so small, you can barely notice, and you'll hardly even see them in photos, especially since you can hardly see them in person, as compared to stretch vinyl, because it's a fabric, it's a lot thicker. Right, so on the back, I'll just start contact smithing the edges. Squeegee it nice and thin. Do the thickness of the foam too, because that's a big area that likes to pull up later. Remember, less is more with contact cement. Sorry if I keep going out of frame. It's hard to do this while watching the screen. I like to do this a little bit at a time. So you just fold it up while you pull to keep it nice and tight, get all the wrinkles out. And you just fold it over. And it's really hard to pull up unless it's a little bit wet. But you can, you can see how well the vinyl forms over shapes and texture. I can get this. You can see how it went over that metal texture in the foam and even got the little squares in it, which is really cool. So if you added texture to your armor or anything, this will definitely pick it up and give it a nice smooth finish. And then you get these little flaps. When you fold over, you just gotta cut them down. I like to just add a little slit and then fold them over, because sometimes if you don't fold over the edges on the corners on the sides, the vinyl won't cover it and you'll see the foam. So I just like to try to keep the foam as hidden as possible. This piece, again, just pull it down. Sometimes it's easier to do it while it's hot. This vinyl sticks a lot better to non-porous surfaces. So say you made armor out of styrene, this will be pretty hard to peel up. Now, one thing about this is that when you cut the slits on like angles that cut in, when you fold it down, the vinyl doesn't cover it, so you have to go in and just add a little tab to hide that. This is when the scrap comes in handy. I like to heat it up and really push it into the crack. I filled in that seam pretty well. Just keep going around. I usually get my vinyls from Top Vinyl Films or Metro Restyling. But in cases with these specialty ones, especially anything that is chrome, they get way too expensive on this site, so that's why I went to eBay. But this is also a cool way to get carbon fiber texture. You can get carbon fiber vinyl without actually using carbon fiber. There's also camouflage vinyl, which I might be using next year if I have time for Security Chief Farah. She has that really cool desert camo on her armor. She doesn't really have a lot of armor either, so it shouldn't cost as much as I thought. But it'll be a lot better than me trying to hand paint a camouflage texture on foam. So there's half of it is covered now. I'm still really disappointed in how the camera picks up the metallic sheen. Hopefully when my roommate takes photos of this when it's done, you'll see how beautiful the satin chrome is. Because right now it's just kind of coming off as a gloss. Alright, let's get on the other side. Don't get your hair stuck in that, because the vinyl will pick it up. Again, I'll heat that up and get out all the hair bubbles. For some reason, this layer really picked up the seam from the piece underneath. So I'm gonna lift this back up and cut that back a little bit. So I was also picking up some of the glue texture. Might be difficult to pull off because I glued it down. Try that again. Probably should not have done that now. Let's find out. If you get any wrinkles in it, just heat it up and squeegee it out towards the edge. If it's really bad, you can poke a tiny hole with the corner of your razor and squeegee towards that. this extra edge. This is probably one of the best ways to get a chrome finish if you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars sending your piece out to get chromed. It's a nice, relatively cheap alternative. And it's actually chrome rather, or compared to the I like Rust-Oleum paint, which is still pretty shiny, but it's definitely not mirrored. Heat that up and pull those down. Got some wrinkles. I'm going to go back, try to lay that down again. And there we have some air bubbles forming just from heating it up. So squeeze it over to one side, and because the edge is glued down, it has nowhere to escape, so we just poke a little hole in it, heat up and squeeze it out. That actually didn't cut a hole in it. Let's try again. Still didn't cut a hole. Alright, there we go. When you heat it out, you can tell the air just rises out of the little hole, and made that one a little too big, but otherwise you'll never notice it. Just trim up the back edge again. Again, cut the little slits at the corners. I try to do it at a 45-degree angle. You can do whatever works best for you. And because I know I need to add the extra piece in here, I'll go ahead and do that first. I'll heat it up and press it in. Cut off that little extra bit. And it's good to have a fresh razor, or else you're just going to chew up the vinyl and get chewy edges. If this will even work. There we go. Back on contact cement. I like to go to Sally's and get a bunch of those hair dye bottles and put the contact cement in there. They're pretty chemical safe, so the glue won't eat through it, although I've had a few times where it ate through the lid, and the lid would fall off. And I had glue dumped all over my project. But hopefully that doesn't happen again, because that kind of sucked, especially since I was low on glue that day and I didn't feel like going out to get more. Just keep going around until I cover the whole thing again. Again, you might have to cut some slits in it to get the vinyl to fold over certain edges, but that's not that big of a deal. And there you go, there's one piece wrapped in heat formable, flexible automotive vinyl wrap. And now I have the fun part of laminating about 30 pieces for this gauntlet, mostly the fingers, which can be super fun. But again, this is a very nice way to get smooth, metallic, whatever you want finishes on foam armor if you don't know how to seal or paint the foam. If you just don't like the finish it gives you. So again, you can get this vinyl in high gloss, satin, matte, carbon fiber, camo, chrome, every variation on chrome you can think of. If you don't feel like spending lots of money on paint, or if you don't have anywhere to paint in your home, even though I probably should be using this glue in a more ventilated area, the bottle keeps the fumes in. So hopefully this helps some of you, and excited to see what you guys do with that, because I don't think a lot of people know about this technique. Some, I guess, consider it advanced, but I don't think it's terribly advanced since you're just laminating your piece in a giant sticker. So thanks again, guys. Please give me feedback since this was my first tutorial video and I don't really know what I'm doing. Let me know what else you guys want to see. We have a bunch in store next year, commission-wise, and like to make tutorials out of whatever we can so we don't have to start side projects. So thanks for watching.